What is up, guys? We are back with another one, and today we're taking a look at the Roccat Burst Pro Air. We're going to do a quick unboxing, take a look at everything, and I'm going to give you my opinion on what I think about the mouse and how my experience has been with it so far. This nice box, let's cut this thing open. And right on top, we have our manual. Underneath there, you'll see our mouse nicely packaged, our wireless dongle, along with our flex cable and a nifty little dry pack. Get rid of that. USB-C cable, by the way. Now let's take a look at this mouse. Now, working our way through this, inside we have the Owl Eye 19K sensor. Now, in terms of sensors, I don't think you'll have any issues with this. It tracked fine, there was no pixel skipping, and the liftoff distance is adjustable as well. So not only does it have a couple preset adjustments, you can actually calibrate it to whatever mouse pad you're using, which actually I wound up doing, and I thought that worked pretty well. So the overall construction of the mouse is very sturdy, it feels solid in my hand. So I do want to point out real quick, if I push right here obnoxiously hard, I can induce a side click. That being said, I don't think you will ever be pushing or squeezing that hard underneath these buttons. But if you think that'll be a problem, just know that you can force a click if you really want to. Now inside this mouse, we have the optical Titan switches. Now, in terms of the switches, I think they're extremely responsive. They work fine, but they have a dull, soft feel to them. It's not to say they're squishy, they just feel different. They don't have quite that snappy, very tactile click to them. Now, after using the mouse for a day, I kind of got used to it, and I actually really don't mind them. I think they're quite nice. But I do think this could make or break it for people who have never used these switches before. If you're familiar with them, that probably won't be an issue for you. Now, in terms of the cable it comes with, nothing fancy. It's some sort of flex cable. It feels okay. It is USB-C rapid charging, which means if your mouse battery is a little low, you can get away with plugging it in for a short amount of time, and you will probably have enough time for your gaming session. Hopefully, maybe. They do boast 100 hours of battery time. Now, again, going back to this cable, there's nothing fancy about it. It's a flexy, meshy material. I guess it's paracord-ish, but I wouldn't use it. I didn't buy a wireless mouse to use the cable. I really just have never used any of my wireless mice wired. They advertise the pure PTFE glides, which again, I'm a little indifferent to. Now, I say that because I feel like most of the gaming mice that I use nowadays all have these pure PTFE skates. I think what's more likely to do a mouse in terms of a bad review in that area is the shape of the feet, or the fact if they're not rounded enough, sometimes they'll pick up junk from your mouse pad. Those are things that I notice. Obviously, once these skates break in, that may change, but for now, these work fine. That being said, I did throw a pair of Super Glides on my G Pro Superlight recently, and those I definitely noticed a big difference right after changing them, but that's for a different video. Now, in terms for the software for this mouse, I actually thought the software was pretty user-friendly for the most part, and in terms of setup, I had to download it, and then it took about 10 to 15 minutes to update the drivers for this mouse. But once that was all done, the amount of things that you can do in the software is really quite nice, and I'll go through that here for you. So here we have the Roccat Swarm app. We have the Burst Pro Air, which is the mouse we're using up top. We give that a click. It's already open, obviously. DPI switcher. This will actually change in live time as you press the button. I leave mine at 800. Windows pointer speed and illumination settings. Drop down all your different patterns. You can set speed, brightness levels, custom themes, and you can change the colors here as well. Settings, vertical scroll speed, double click speed, Windows pointer speed, and your DPI switcher again. Down low, you'll also notice we have the different profiles along with their associated colors. For when you're saving your profiles, you can swap through those. Profile manager, macro manager, button assignment for any remapping you may do, your standard buttons, and then your shift buttons, along with some basic presets from them. Illumination, fully lit, all your patterns. Again, you can change the colors here, set your speed, brightness, custom theme, and then advanced settings. Now, this is a very important tab. It gives you your battery status and also your signal strength. Again, anything over 3 feet, I started to see a little splotchiness in my signal strength, so I now put the dongle into my main monitor, which is directly in front of where my mouse goes, and that's giving me the excellent signal pretty much all the time. Energy saving mode I've had on. Pulling rate, angle snapping, distance control unit. Distance control unit's going to be your liftoff distance. Mine came on very low. I did do a custom setting, which kind of mapped it to my mouse pad and actually made it even a little lower. And I have been leaving it at that. Angle snapping, I leave off because I'm not about that life. You can reset all your settings here and then also set your debounce time. Now, Roccat states that this mouse weighs 81 grams. I have mine at 82 on the scale, and that's pretty close. You're going to have a little variance either way. But that being said, again, in terms of lightweight mice in the wireless market currently, I think this is a strong contender, and it's got a few things going for it. Now, in terms of shape, this is like a weird cross between a G Pro Superlight or a G Pro Wireless and an Endgame XM1R. So if you take a look at the back end of an XM1R, as well as the back end of the Burst Pro Air, you're going to notice that they have very similar widths and shapes. Now, if you turn this to a side view, you'll notice that it kind of has a comparable hump to a G Pro, although it is not as tall as a G Pro. So it almost has like a hybrid shape of the two going on. I also don't want to forget that where you grip the mouse, they do have this sort of stippling down the side, and it's almost like a glossy stippling, and it does add a nice little bit of texture for your grip. So this mouse wheel really is actually quite nice. It's got some good grip to it, scrolls nicely, clicks nicely. It also sticks off the top a good bit, and I am a fan of more prominent scroll wheels than say when you're comparing it to something like the Starlight Phantom 12, where the scroll wheel barely comes off the top. I think the side buttons on this are really nice, pretty prominent off the side there. Also have a nice audible and tactile click. Now, in terms of things I don't like about this mouse, there's really nothing performance-wise or grip-wise that I don't like. Now, my hand size is roughly 7 inches by 4 inches. It's a little bigger. It's like 18 by 10 centimeters. So I play what is known as like a relaxed claw grip, or even like close to a palm grip sometimes, depending on the type of game I'm playing. So when I'm usually holding my mouse like this, you'll notice that there's a little gap in between my hand and the mouse. So I think this mouse would be great for medium to large sized hands. That being said, I'm sure it would even work for some people with smaller hands depending on the type of grip you use. Now, really the things that I'm not a fan of are just a couple aesthetic things, and I wouldn't even say I'm not a fan of them, I just don't prefer them. So in terms of RGB, I personally don't really care if my mice have RGB. I usually actually turn it off just because I prefer the battery life. So that's something I could have done without on this mouse. That being said, it does look pretty good when the RGB is all fired up, and I'll show you some clips of that. It has a honeycomb design underneath an opaque design. And the one thing I really don't like on any mouse is when they put that ugly DPI button front and center. Now, the main reason I don't like it is because depending on placement, while I'm in the middle of a game, if I accidentally hit that button, now I have one more reason to try to tell people why I'm missing my shots. Second, I just don't think it looks good. I think it could very easily go on the bottom of most mice, maybe. I say easily, but then again, I'm not the one designing the boards or anything on these, so who knows? Third, the placement on this mouse is good. It doesn't get in the way. I've never accidentally hit it thus far. That being said, I don't think it needs the DPI label on it. They could have just had it be a square button, but... And the last and final thing that this mouse really has going for it is both the price and the warranty. Now, this mouse comes in before tax and shipping and all that at $99.99 US, which means we're significantly more cheaper than some of the more premium options, such as the G Pro Superlight. Now, I like the G Pro Superlight, and it is my main mouse currently, but that being said, it is extremely expensive. And this is even a good option to try maybe if your budget doesn't quite reach to a G Pro Superlight. Because again, $150 for a mouse is a lot, and if you could shave $50 off, that could go towards other peripherals or whatever else you need to spend that money on. And even better than the price is the warranty. 2-year warranty, along with the claimed 100 million clicks, which means you really should have no issues with this mouse for a long time. Obviously, we know that's not always the case, and it's a little too soon to tell. Either way, this mouse does seem very well constructed, and I don't expect to have any issues with it in the near future. Chances are, if you like the Burst Pro and you were looking for a wireless version, this will probably check all the boxes for you, as long as you don't mind the little extra weight increase. And yeah, that's the Roccat Burst Pro Air. Now, I plan on using this thing for, I don't know, until I don't anymore. But it's the first mouse in a while to pull me off of my G Pro Superlight, and I was actually able to use it for more than a day or two and not be like, man, I need my G Pro Superlight. If you're looking for a better priced, lighter weight wireless mouse, this may do it for you. Or maybe it won't, because I don't know. I say I like this mouse, but I'll be using a different one tomorrow, and I'll have 2 more coming in the mail for whatever reason. But either way, I hope this video helped you guys out. If you have any questions that I didn't get to in the video, please drop a comment below and I'll try to answer them. Hit that sub button. We got more videos coming your way, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.